I was just told the most hurtful thing I've ever had to hear. Hi everyone. I really need some support. I need someone to tell me if I'm wrong. My mother didn't raise me. I was raised by my grandparents on my dad's side who did the best they could. They always did what they thought was best and I appreciate it. When I was little I remember being told I was left money so that I could go to college, by my great-grandfather. I never received it. I also never asked because well, I was scared to ask. I finally asked last night. My mother took a long time to answer. She said it was a hard answer and I don't even know if her answer was honest or bullshit and I don't have anyone to ask. She told me that the funds were withdrawn and it was a decision of her side of the family because I was disrespectful and wasn't interested in the family. I asked who made the decision, and she said my great-grandfather did. I was 11 when he died. I think it's bullshit, but when I called her on it saying I was a child she wouldn't give me a straight answer. My grandmother recently died as well, about a year ago. Me and her had a wonderful conversation right before she died. But apparently after I left that night, she instructed my mother to never help me financially with her estate. She had decent investments. So my mother has been living large and I'm struggling with medical debt, student loans, and a baby, and she can't help me in good conscience because it would break her mother's wishes. Even if all of this is true, it is still absolute garbage and it's made me completely reconsider having anything to do with her. Hearing that your grandmother wasn't thinking about you at all when she died is so hurtful. It's not even about the money. Her husband seems to think it is, who I have a strong distaste for. It's about being told basically we don't love you as much as the rest of the family because my mother lost custody of me. I want to just block her and move on, but something in me won't let me. Edit. I didn't expect so much traction here. Thank you all so much. I may speak with a family friend of mine who is a lawyer and just see if there's anything that could possibly be looked into or if it's better to just leave it. I don't think I'd be able to prove anything so I don't know. I also potentially have one member of the family I can try to contact that may know. This person was exiled from the family, like I have been apparently. So maybe he knows. He's local to me. I really appreciate this sub.
Finally got a letter from my narcissist mom after 8 months of no contact, and I can't help but laugh. I received this letter from my mom. I can't believe you are doing this to me. How can you do this to your own mother? I never turned my back on you all your life. I took care of you and gave you everything you wanted. I have been so sick I lost 10 pounds. I can't eat or sleep. I had COVID in November and I was real sick. I had diarrhea for weeks. I don't have enough money for things, all my money goes for bills, and I have to save now for the house taxes or I will be homeless. I can't understand why you are doing this to me. All I ever did was love you and now you are treating me like garbage. All my life my biggest fear was being homeless, that is why my father and your uncle took care of me with the house and the money from the stock. I don't make a lot of money to pay for all the bills and taxes. I try to contact you and you have me blocked everywhere. If you love me or have it in your heart, please help me. I love you, Mom. To give some background, I am 33 years old, and an only child. I have been no contact with my mom since June of 2023. My uncle from my mother's side passed away in 2016 and left me with an inheritance of some shares of stock and the family house that I used to live in. My uncle and I were incredibly close, and he was the closest thing I had to a father, as my own had left me when I was barely young enough to remember him. My mom, my uncle, and I all lived together until his untimely and unexpected passing in the family home they grew up in with their own parents. My uncle's passing caused a massive rift in my relationship with my mom. Overnight she assumed that I'd be her new caretaker, and barely gave me a chance to grieve before I had to fill his shoes. And she also expected me to use the inheritance I had gotten to help supplement and support her lifestyle. After moving out with my fiancé in 2019, the relationship with my mother got even worse, and in the months leading up to my wedding in the fall of 2021, my mother had become downright intolerable. She was pushing me to go to a lawyer to put my inheritance in a trust with her as the sole beneficiary so that my future wife couldn't get to it if I die. She was constantly looking for things to be unhappy about regarding the wedding planning, finding slights in everything we were doing. On the day of the wedding, she refused to leave her table and wouldn't smile in any of the wedding photos. In the almost 5 years since I've moved out, she's visited my house a grand total of 3 times, but every weekend would beg me to come visit her. Ultimately, after she lost her mind and blew my phone up all day at work because she saw photos of me at my nephew's kindergarten graduation when I never want to visit her. I had seen her a few weeks before, for Mother's Day, I decided I had had enough. I stopped responding, stopped answering phone calls, and eventually blocked her everywhere I could. It had been silent and peaceful, until yesterday, when the letter arrived. The USPS informed delivery email I got that morning showed a nondescript envelope with my name written in her handwriting. I had a pit in my stomach waiting for the mail to show up, desperately wanting to know what she could possibly have to say. And when I finally got it and tore into the envelope, I couldn't help but laugh as I read it out loud verbally to my wife. "You treat me garbage," has been our running joke, and the letter has long since been passed through our shredder. I'm calling out of work in the morning, not because of how upset I am at her finding a way through my no contact, but because I spent all weekend putting together a hobby room for my wife and I want to enjoy it with her and play hooky. And for the first time in a while I'm not even angry at my mom, I'm just indifferent. And it feels great. My narcissist mom texted my wife when she found out we were having a child. Funny how 2 years of no contact were okay until we had something she wanted. After years of emotional abuse, my wife and I went NC with my narcissistic mom. For 2 years she didn't seem to care or make an effort to fix things. Then my wife got pregnant with our first child. The day my mom found out, my wife received this text. "I just heard your wonderful news. I want to let you know that I realize LV made mistakes, and I'm truly sorry that I hurt you. Believe me, if I had it to do all over again, I would have done things differently. I'd like to put this behind us. We have a beautiful baby coming and I very much want to be a part of your and her life. I hope you can find it in your heart to forgive me. Let's talk soon." Processing the information, my wife didn't respond immediately and received the following message a few weeks later, not 2 months later like the message says. "It's been almost 2 months since I sent you the last text. Time is fleeting and soon you will be a mother. I would really like to put all this behind us. I would really like to be a part of my granddaughter's life, as well as yours. Your daughter deserves to have the love of both her grandmothers. As she grows, she will want to know where her other grandmother is. And as my son knows, in the end, the important thing we remember about our grandparents is the time we shared with them. Please don't deny her that. I am here. Again, let's talk." Funny how this suddenly became important when we had something she wanted from us. My wife and I gave her another chance, but it quickly turned back to the same cycle of abuse. My daughter is now 2 and we've been no contact again with my mom for 3 months. My wife is 6 months pregnant with our second child. I'm taking bets on how soon until we get another text like this. This is the end of today's stories. Don't forget to like and subscribe. See you soon.